in theater for its rapid speed and its hard-hitting armament. But in the Pacific, another aircraft will earn its place in history as the fastest Allied fighter of the war. April 22nd, 1945. F-4U Corsairs of the U.S. Marine Corps patrol off the coast of Okinawa. Flight leader Lieutenant Jerry O'Keefe and his men are part of VMF 323, the Death Rattlers. They have been tasked with a special late-war mission to seek out and destroy Japanese kamikazes before they strike home on American ships.
We had been patrolling above the picket ships for over 2 hours without any activity and no enemy planes in the area. All of a sudden, we were notified by the picket ship below us that a large number of enemy aircraft were coming down from the north, from the direction of Japan.
A swarm of suicide aircraft rattles toward the American fleet. They begin to loosen their formation and disperse in an effort to present fewer targets to the advanced American fighters patrolling the area. One such patrol, led by Jerry O'Keefe, is high above and closing fast.
If your advantage over the enemy is, say, 50 or 60 miles per hour in speed, it makes very little sense to get involved in a turning contest with them. Instead, use an altitude advantage, dive in a high-speed pass, pick your shot, fire, and use that momentum to zoom again and retain your altitude advantage.
O'Keefe picks a target out of the pack. A slow-moving Val dive bomber at 2 o'clock low. Anxiously, O'Keefe slams his throttle to the firewall and dives, determined to land the first punch. April 22nd, 1945. Corsair pilot Jerry O'Keefe is diving fast on a kamikaze. The Japanese plane fills his gun sight.
O'Keefe rolls in and does a classic gun run on it like he did in the training command. So he makes one pass at this valve and disintegrates it with the .50 caliber.
O'Keefe levels off with 6 more valves ahead of him. His powerful Corsair will have no trouble catching up to the lumbering dive bombers. The D-3A2 Val is the primary dive bomber of the Imperial Japanese Navy. But with fixed landing gear and a weak 1,300 horsepower engine, the Val is not much of a dogfighter. The F-4U Corsair is the most advanced fighter in the Pacific. Identifiable for its innovative gull-wing design, the Corsair earned a reputation for its searing combination of speed and firepower.
The Corsair was far superior than any plane really in combat that the Japanese had at that point.
The Corsair's power comes from the legendary R-2800 radial engine, the same engine that powered the F-6F Hellcat and the P-47 Thunderbolt.
The R-2800 in the World War II fighters. What a fantastically reliable, capable, powerful aircraft engine. Tremendous ability to put out power.
The Corsair can top 440 miles per hour, making it the fastest fighter then in service with the armed forces. Now, Corsair pilot Jerry O'Keefe is using his aircraft's trademark speed to close the gap on 6 Japanese Val dive bombers.
I was behind them, and it was my intention to shoot all 6 of them down, but it didn't work out that way.
O'Keefe sights up the leader and pulls the trigger.
And I missed him, and he left the formation and turned sharply to the left. And I decided I was going to stay with him until we settled that matter.
The Val dives into the clouds. O'Keefe doggedly pursues.
I had put my landing flaps down a little bit so I wouldn't run past him.
Finally, the Val pilot's luck runs out.
Just wasn't enough cloud cover for him to get into. And then I had a dead-on shot from the stern. He just blew up,
As O'Keefe returns to the fight, another Val comes screaming right at him.
We went past like this, and then we both turned into each other to try to get an advantage.
This kamikaze pilot has the heart of a dogfighter. The 2 aircraft engage in a deadly low-speed scissors above the water, taking O'Keefe to the wavering edge of stall speed.
O'Keefe is lowering his flaps, slowing down. This is a Val that can fly actually probably slower than he can, trying to pull inside of him.
On the second pass, O'Keefe lands a few hits. The dive bomber smokes, but its pilot refuses to back down. The kamikaze noses up, intent on ramming the Corsair.
I guess he realized, that he was gone and wanted to take me with him, and I didn't want to go.
O'Keefe desperately yanks the stick back.
So I pulled up and was able to avoid him. But it was very, very close, and I was extremely scared.
The Val noses over and plunges into the water. It's a hard-fought 3rd victory for O'Keefe. The American pitches up, knowing he can trade altitude for speed. Leveling off at nearly 10,000 feet, he spots another Val below.
The next engagement that he has is very similar to his first engagement. He looks and sees a bogey down low 2 o'clock.
The kamikaze pilot doesn't see it coming.
Some of those pilots didn't seem to see other aircraft. They were oblivious to what was about to happen to them in most cases.
O'Keefe accelerates, does another classic training command style gunfiring pass at high speed, and gets the kill on the first pass.
As O'Keefe climbs away from his 4th victory, he spots a lone Val off in the distance. No doubt on an attack run against the American fleet.
With O'Keefe's engagements against the kamikazes at Okinawa, the great limiting factor is the amount of ammunition that he has in the aircraft.
Low on ammo, O'Keefe uses his best asset, speed. O'Keefe trains his sight pipper, takes a breath, then fires. With only a handful of 50 caliber rounds left in his guns, First Lieutenant Jerry O'Keefe becomes an ace in a day by splashing 5 kamikazes. The other Death Rattlers bring the day's total to 17. Not a single kamikaze successfully strikes the fleet.
O'Keefe and the Death Rattlers, they saved thousands of lives by blunting those assaults coming in. And we owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude for that.